I'm the FanFiction Critic. This is what you do with a BA in English. It's no secret that I'm kinda nerdy and that I know a few things about grammar. It's really too bad that the author of today's story doesn't know anything about grammar. Today I'll be reviewing Legolas by Laura, which is infamous among those who seek out bad fanfiction. What makes this story so bad? Let's find out. Our tale begins.
Legolas was riding along the woods, and one day he found a baby waved in cold, so he got off his horse and went to the baby, and then Legolas said, "Who left you here, little one?" And then the baby just cried, and then Legolas picked her up and hold her, and then the baby stopped crying, and then Legolas said, "Your name is going to be Laura," and then Legolas and the baby went on to the horse and went back to the castle where he lived.
That was our first sentence. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Alright, let's have a brief lesson on the magical wonders of grammar, shall we? Alright, show of hands, who knows the #1 problem with this sentence? That's right, it's a run-on sentence. Now typically a sentence has a subject, a verb, and maybe an adjective or two to make things interesting. This sentence has too much of that. We could easily take this sentence and divide it up into no less than 5 smaller sentences, like this. Notice how I've broken that one run-on sentence into several smaller ones, and also notice how I've hit the return key to create a new paragraph when Legolas is talking. This makes the text easier to read. Granted, the content is still inane, original, and under-detailed. The author needs to show instead of telling. This whole premise could be very interesting if the author had shown us instead of telling us about it. In a poorly spelled grammatical nightmare nutshell, Legolas finds a baby in the woods, names it Laura, and takes it home. And wait a minute, isn't our author's named Laura? Yes! Yes, it is. Most authors are a wee bit more creative when writing themselves into the story. Not this one. I'm not sure if I should admonish her for being uncreative or praise her for being honest. She's in here as Legolas's adopted baby sister, who he found in the woods. Flash forward to 10 years later, because nothing interesting or important could possibly happen in 10 years. Legolas, for some unknown reason, enjoys hanging out with his 10-year-old adopted sister.
Legolas got up and went into Laura's room and said good morning, and then Laura said good morning too. Then Legolas said, "What's the matter?" And then Laura said, "Legolas, I want to know how to ride a horse." Then Legolas said okay, and then Legolas said, "First you get dresses and have something to eat, and then we will go for a horse ride lesson."
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? A horse ride lesson. A horse ride lesson. You have got to be shitting me. How dumb can you possibly be? A horse ride lesson? That is almost as dumb as you get dresses. It's you get dressed because it's a fucking verb. And stop using the word then. Just stop, because you're using it too much and you're making this entire thing sound stupid. So, Legolas and Laura have a horse ride lesson. Gandalf and Aragorn show up.
Meanwhile, Strider and Gandalf was riding towards where Legolas lived, and then Strider said, "Gandalf, I did not know Legolas had a sister." And then Gandalf said, "I did not know as well."
His name is Aragorn, not Strider. Strider was like his nickname or something. But his real name is Aragorn. I think that this author watched the first half of the first Lord of the Rings film and then sat down to write this. Because if she'd bothered to watch the whole movie, she would have gotten Aragorn's name right.
Meanwhile, at Mundor, the Dark Lord was planning to kidnap the princess, but not Legolas. Then the boss of the orcs came and said, "I'll get her for you, sir." And then the Dark Lord said, "Yes, you can."
The Dark Lord? Oh no! Wait a minute, not that one. This one, right? No, that's not right either. This one? There we go. There are too many Dark Lords in sci-fi and fantasy. $10 to whoever can come up with something more creative. It's not gonna happen. So, the Dark Lord Sauron apparently moved to Mondor, as taxes in Mordor have gotten way too high. Sauron has an evil plan to kidnap Princess Laura, although it's never explained why he wants to do this or how he even knows of her existence. And Laura is apparently a princess. I guess that makes sense, seeing as Legolas is Prince of Mirkwood, according to Wikipedia. So, Sauron sends his army of orcs to kidnap Laura, but it takes a while for them to get from Mondor to Mirkwood, so we have some pointless bantering between Legolas, Laura, Gandalf, and Aragorn. Strider, before anything interesting happens.
Laura was shy at first, and then Legolas said, "Laura, come and meet Strider and Gandalf." And then Laura said, "Hello, I am Laura." Legolas said she is the princess, and then Strider said she is so cute, and then Legolas said that will be my fillet, and then Gandalf said why, and then Laura said he protects me, that's why, and then Legolas looked up and said I think we should go back to the castle, and then Laura said I can feel it too.
It's my fault she's so cute. I protect her way too much. 'Cause that makes a ton of sense. And every time a different character speaks, a new paragraph must begin. Otherwise, your story is a sloppy and indecipherable blob of text. Here's how it should look. You need to create a new paragraph every time a new character talks. This makes the story flow more easily and makes it easier for the reader to distinguish between who is talking. Remember, the return key is your friend. Apparently, Legolas and Laura both feel something, so they go back to the castle. Although, according to TVTropes.com, Legolas doesn't live in a castle. He lives in a fortified cave. This author did no research.
Legolas said, "Do you want to stay for a night?" And then Gandalf and Strider said, "Yes, please," and then they had tea and went to bed.
You know, Doctor, I think I will have the tea.
Oh, it's always funny when you turn down tea, then you decide you want tea.
During the night, Legolas asked the guards to keep an eye on Laura's room. Meanwhile, the orcs climbed up the window and grabbed Laura, and then Laura woke up and screamed, and then the guard went into her room and saw lots of orcs, and then Legolas ran down the hall. Then Legolas said, "Where is Laura?" And then the guard said the orcs took her.
And then the story is made up entirely of the phrase "and then." It's like a 5-year-old is telling it. Only a 5-year-old would make it more interesting.
Meanwhile, the orcs was back at Mondor, and then Laura said, "Put me down." And then the orcs did, and then the Dark Lord came out of the fire and said, "Welcome, Laura." And then Laura looked at him and said, "No, it can't be." And then she tried to run away, but the orcs got her. Then the Dark Lord said, "Put her into the cell and beat her, and also do whatever you want with her, but do not kill her."
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? I mean, it's 9 a.m. here, but it's gotta be 5 o'clock somewhere in the world, right? Much better. I'm not sure why the Dark Lord Sauron has abducted 10-year-old Princess Laura, and it's never actually explained. You can't just kidnap people willy-nilly. It doesn't work that way. Come on, author, explain Sauron's motivation here. Why does he want to kidnap Laura? Does it have anything to do with the Ring of Power? How come the One Ring hasn't even been mentioned yet?